Hi, good evening, all. A warm welcome to everyone who have joined with us today. Tonight, this task of introducing our guest of honor and speaker is a great privilege for me. She is a woman of virtue and simplicity. I feel elated to introduce her to everyone tonight. I took this opportunity to welcome Neenu Rathin, an expert in project management and business development skills. She has been working in community building and non-profit sector since 2013. She is a CEO and founder of the Social Town. Neenu Rathin graduated in Electronics and Communication Engineering, PG Diploma in Embedded System Designing, MBA in Marketing and Executive Management Development Programs with specialization in project management from IIM Kozhikode, and also recently graduated from Amani, a global institute developing individuals and organizations to lead social impact. It is an honor and a privilege as to have you here with us, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Devananda, for your kind introduction. I think we can start, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can I share my screen? Hope it is visible to everyone. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about, I cannot see myself. So if there is anything, you can, let me know. So while sharing the screen. So I'm going to talk about social entrepreneurship today. Before getting into the topic, I would like to give a brief introduction of myself and my venture, the Social Town. As Devananda mentioned, I am a social entrepreneur and I've been active in the community building sector since 2013. So I'm actually a volunteer turned social entrepreneur, as mentioned during the introduction. So I'm basically graduating in Electronics and Communication Engineering. I was placed in an MNC in the third year of college itself, but I was not really passionate about taking up a career in software development. So I was confused. Soon after completing my engineering, I started my career as a lecturer. So I was teaching students like you way back in 2008, way back in 2008. And after that, since I was not really passionate about my teaching career and I was confused, the best thing for any, women at my age was to get married and settle. So I did the same. But I realized that something was missing and I wanted to do something, but I was not sure what it was. Then I did, after marriage also, I moved to a different place and I did my PG diploma and MBA in between. But I was not sure about, about a career in technology. Then in 2013, when I came back to Kerala, I started volunteering with some organization because I was not sure about taking up a job because I was no longer a fresher and I didn't have any experience. So volunteering gave me a sense of, feeling that I wanted to do something in the social development space. And at that time itself, I wanted to connect with a lot of organizations and, social change makers and stuff because no one to guide me and no resources. So I wanted to develop a platform for people like me, a networking platform, wherein we can have, profiles like any other social media networks and we can connect with others and interact. We can also showcase our social activities. But as mentioned, I didn't have any, resources or connections or no one to guide me. So I continued my volunteering experience. And in 2018, I came back to, Kochi and I really got some good opportunities to work with. So I was part of Compassionate Kerala during the floods and I was working with around 7,000 volunteers from across the globe. And I got an opportunity to work with the core team. And I realized that we were doing everything, virtually. And we created a massive impact during that whole, period. And that gave me a sense of validation for the idea of the social town. Again, after that, soon after completing that project, I had to, be a co-team member of another viral project happened in Kerala, which is named as Stay Kuti. So that was a project to support the handloom weavers community of Kerala. And that was actually a 6-month-long work. Around 50,000 volunteers were part of that movement, and a massive impact was created. And soon after that, I was joined as a project consultant for an organization in Kerala. And that was my first social development sector job. And after working for 1.5 years, so in between I did some community level projects, and along with social entrepreneur Lakshmi Menon, we launched a campaign called Make Friendship for the fisherman community of Kerala. And then we were expecting around 65,000 people sending handwritten note to us, but we got an overwhelming response, and we got around 2.5 to 3 lakhs of handwritten messages for the fishermen community. And also we supported 13,000 fishermen with a small insurance. That was also support of the other well wishers in the society. So that was my work before the Social Town. And I started Social Town in 2020, and in between all these 2 years, I had a lot of experience working with different stakeholders in the social development sector, and I will walk you through that and my idea of the Social Town, and also why I started Social Town. So the Social Town is a virtual collaborative platform for social change makers. So I always believe in multi-stakeholder approach for solving social problems. What I meant by multi-stakeholder is because so what I meant by stakeholder is anyone which is impacted or part of anything is called a stakeholder. So if it is concerned about a society or a community, so who are the stakeholders? Government will come, right? Non-profit organizations, individuals like you and me, or anyone part of that. So if it is a problem related to a community near your institution, so where you are also a part of that problem, so then that educational institution is also a stakeholder, an important stakeholder. So, but when I solve a social problem, I always believe in bringing all these people together. So I want to understand that, what all are available and where is the gap. And there is also a possibility of exchange of resources. Some people can come up with ideas, some can contribute, financially, some can implement the project well, some can execute some other levels at some other levels, or the scale up the entire project. So we have different skill set, and different stakeholders can bring in different resources. So I always wanted to be an advocate of volunteering and also a multi-stakeholder approach for problem solving. That's why I developed a platform named Social Town, wherein I bring individuals and organizations in the social development sector. I connect them and help them to exchange resources. And we also provide them training programs and boot camps, and we support them in all means. So why I'm going to talk about the social entrepreneur. I mentioned that I am actually a volunteer turned social entrepreneur. So social entrepreneurship is like any other entrepreneurship approach, but here the difference is we are not focusing on profit but also on the planet and the people. That means a social entrepreneur is primarily focusing on solving a societal or a community level problem, applying entrepreneurial skills. Can I have some kind of interaction from your side, because I can only see my screen and I'm talking to a screen, and if you can just put something as a message, or if it is not clear, that will be really great. I hope I'm audible and the screen is visible. Can I get some kind of response from your end? Yes. So social entrepreneurship is not a new concept, but we are applying entrepreneurship skills to solve a social or a community level problem. So anyone who is doing this is a social entrepreneur. Like, what is the difference between a traditional business and what is the difference between a startup and a traditional business? A startup might be solving a problem in a different way, or a novel solution. A traditional business may be doing it in a very normal way, but a startup or an entrepreneur at this age may be doing it in a different way by bringing some kind of innovation. Innovation doesn't mean a product. It can also be a process change, or it can be a policy level change. It could be anything. So something different in the way it is implemented, or doing. It can be a product, it can be a service. So a social entrepreneur is someone who is doing business, not just focusing on profit, but also on the people and planet, and solving community level or social level issues. So I want to show you a very quick video. So that will help you to understand about why or what is social entrepreneurship and why social entrepreneurship. So are you with me? Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you all see the video?
Entrepreneur who knows.
Can you see
We can
my...
see the PowerPoint.
Sorry?
We can see the PowerPoint.
Not the video, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me then stop sharing my screen. Now, let me share it again. No. Let me know if you can see the screen and the video.
Mervyn is a young entrepreneur who knows how to get things done.
Yes.
He inherited Marge, a cow that his grandpa always said was one very smart and special cow. Marge loves Mervyn very much and gives him lots of milk from which he makes delicious cheese. Everyone loves Mervyn's cheese and his business is going well. However, Mervyn is not happy. Over the years, he has noticed his country becoming more and more impoverished. Unemployment is high, and everybody is leaving in pursuit of a better future. Seeing Mervyn so sad, Marge decides it's time to help him and his country. She reveals to him the concept of social entrepreneurship. It's like any other entrepreneurship where your product is placed on the market and profit is generated. However, the profit is not used exclusively to enlarge the wealth of the business's owner, but instead is reinvested in order to increase the quality of life and well-being of the entire community. Business success is also measured in terms of positive social and ecological impact. Suddenly, everything was clear to Mervyn, and he became a social entrepreneur. With his newly found business management knowledge, he is now able to successfully balance economic, social, and environmental goals. Social entrepreneurs identify social problems and use entrepreneurial skills to achieve positive changes such as environmental protection and conservation, job creation, meeting public, cultural, and health needs, the inclusion of the most vulnerable members of the community, and so on. With his example, Mervyn has shown us that changes are possible and that the power is in our hands. If you want to achieve something larger than plain profit, then find out more about social entrepreneurship and learn how you can positively affect your community while maintaining a steady income. And remember, by doing good for your community, you're doing good for yourself.
There is a very short video explaining about, why social entrepreneurship. So, when we talk about entrepreneurship, what is the focus? When we start a business, why we start a business? Traditional job എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ആളുകൾ ബിസിനസ്സിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നത്? Can anyone answer? Can we make it a bit more interactive? നമ്മൾ ബിസിനസ് തുടങ്ങുക എന്നുള്ളതിന്റെ എപ്പോഴും ഒരു പ്രൈമറി എയിം എന്തായിരിക്കും, ലക്ഷ്യം of someone starting a business or being an entrepreneur? I'm not talking about social entrepreneurship, but yes, anyone?
To follow your passion?
Yes, follow your passion. Yes.
To solve a problem.
Exactly. Yes. More freedom. Yes. Someone if doesn't want to, go for a 9-to-5 job, they will definitely, go for a business, which also gives them, an opportunity to be their own boss, right? Freedom. Yes. Again. Business entrepreneur, the first thing is yes, more money, because when we think about business, business being an entrepreneur, thinking so we are not going to live in with a certain amount of money what we are getting as a salary, but we are going to make more money with a disruptive idea. Entrepreneur always we talk about business, right? But this is an exactly different thing, but applying the skill sets of an entrepreneur. That is social entrepreneurship. It is not just solving a problem or not finding a gap in the society. Okay, we are taking a particular community and there is a lack of some particular kind of education stream, maybe a new maybe it's a consider about blockchain technology, and you're seeing a scope in, okay, more students are interested in learning about blockchain technology, and why don't I start a company who gives a certificate program for blockchain enthusiasts. So that you find an opportunity, and you're finding a problem that there are a lot of job opportunities in the blockchain field, and there is a gap in the society. There is not many youngsters or are equipped with that skill. So you find a gap and there is a problem, and you're going to solve it. That's a traditional business idea. But a social entrepreneur is something very different from that, because they have to solve a social problem or a community level problem that is embedded in the society for long, also to apply an innovative solution for that. നമ്മൾ ട്രഡീഷണലി ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലത്തെ ഒരു കാര്യമായിരിക്കില്ല നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, but something innovative or in a very different way, in a smarter way you are solving. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ it should not be a product ആവണമെന്നില്ല, ഒരു സർവീസ് ആവണമെന്നില്ല, but whatever you are doing, you are making a world a better place. It can be your problem is solved for people or maybe for your planet, but you will also focus on profit, but that is not to take your cut, but to reinvest in the community. Adana nammala social entrepreneurs the other entrepreneurs thamilla difference. We will talk more about this. I hope I am able to set a context of social entrepreneurship now. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we will go back to the presentation. Can you see that what is the difference between non-profit organizations, social enterprises, and a traditional for-profit company? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So yes, നമ്മൾ already പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞു what is the difference between a traditional for-profit company or social enterprise or a non-profit organization എന്നാണ്. നമ്മൾ always കേൾക്കുന്നതാണ് in society we heard about NGOs നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ NPOs. NGOs means non-governmental organizations, or the first picture in our mind when we hear about NGOs is okay, charitable organization. Charitable organization means they are surviving on public money, or they raise money from the public, or take donations, or they raise funds through any activities, not business activity, any other activity, and also from the corporates with social responsibility programs. They don't have a business model or anything. They don't have a product, or they don't have a service to sell. They just collect money for the good work they are doing. അതാണ് നോൺ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ NGOs എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ദ ട്രഡീഷണൽ ഫോർ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് കമ്പനി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വി ഹാവ് ഓൾറെഡി ടോക്ഡ് അബൌട്ട് ദാറ്റ്. ദ ഫോക്കസ് ഇസ് ഓൺലി ഓൺ enlarging the company or the business idea, or making more business, more money is the focus. But they also have now it is a mandate to have a corporate social responsibility. If you are making a lot of money, you have to contribute some part of it to the community development, and that is called corporate social responsibility. That is a mandate now, and most of the companies are doing it. In India, I think around 21,000 companies are now doing corporate social responsibility activities, which includes companies like Cognizant or Infosys and Godrej, like all these companies, Hindustan Unilever, and all these companies are having a corporate social responsibility wing in their company, and they are doing a lot of activities. But we cannot call them social entrepreneurs or social enterprise, because they are doing traditional business, but they are actually using some part of their profit to make this world a better place. And the non-profit organization, I'm already they are actually surviving, or they are using only the money of the public as donations or from the corporate social responsibility fund. They don't have any kind of business activity. But the difference from these two and a social entrepreneur is that they must have a business model in place. They either have a product or they have services, and they will have a business model that will generate money. But the difference is that they are not sharing the money within the stakeholders, but they will reinvest in the society or the company to make more impact in the society. That is the only difference. So this is the difference between NGOs, non-profit organizations, and the traditional profit business and social enterprises. So social entrepreneurship is not a new term. We it is more familiar now because there is a trend or a hike in the number of social entrepreneurs in this age. But it became more popular when Bill Drayton started Ashoka Foundation. Hope everyone is aware of Ashoka Foundation. It is actually a platform for social entrepreneurs. So we became more aware of social entrepreneurship from 1980s, but it started in 90s itself. But at that time, we see business as its traditional business and the philanthropy or charity as a different purpose. And in 1970, we know that social entrepreneurship is there is some kind of skills required to solve social problems, and we are aware of that. And it became more clear when the Bill Drayton started Ashoka Foundation and gave them a platform for social entrepreneurs. And then in 2000, it became a research, and then more skills is inculcated with the existing entrepreneurs, and we are more aware of social entrepreneurship and its opportunities. And now everyone knows that social entrepreneurship is also a well accepted career like any other entrepreneurship scenes. Before that, we cannot see a lot of incubators or accelerators supporting social entrepreneurs, but now it is changed. So my venture, the Social Town, is incubated by one of the premier institutes in the country, that is Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. So my venture is incubated by IIM Bangalore. So you can see the difference that now even the biggest organization or institute started, supporting social entrepreneurs. Why they are supporting social entrepreneurs now? So making money is the ultimate aim of, if business means making money, then why they are supporting social entrepreneurs? Because it not just focused on profit. We have already talked about that. It is focused on people and planet. That is also the reason, because the world needs more social entrepreneurs now. We all know that India is a country with 1.4 billion population, right? So the total population is 8 billion and India's population is 1.4 billion. And we are going to be the number one in that. And even now, in India, there are millions living in poverty and thousands are dying every day due to hunger. Can you believe that? Not just in India. I'm just talking about India and why India needs more, social entrepreneurs. But this is the scenario. Can we imagine that soon after finishing this, we are going to have a delicious dinner at home, and we are all connected, in a digital media now. Can we imagine that while we are talking, people are dying because they don't have food? Illiteracy and poverty is one among the many problems India and the world faces today. And we all know that in Kerala also we know that our climate was really good, right? But now we are facing floods and a lot of other environment related problems, and the heat is rising, heat waves are coming. From that, there will be n number of problems we can list. All these problems are very deep rooted and complex. And even after having a lot of businesses in place, and even government is trying, and there are actually 3.3 million NGOs or non-profit organizations. But still sustainable development goals are not attainable by the 2030. I hope you're all aware of UN SDGs. I am assuming that in 2015, UN leaders came up with a plan or a blueprint for action for all the countries, because we have to solve all these problems. Otherwise, we will not be able to survive. So there is an agenda, 2030 agenda, and that is UN Sustainable Development Goals. We have 17 goals and 169 targets. And all the member organizations or countries, 195 countries, agreed to follow this and work towards the betterment of the people and planet. And all are trying to do their best. Even now, I think you heard about COP27. So COP27 is happening now. There is conference of parties, and all these world leaders and different stakeholders in the world are meeting, and they are discussing about what to be discussing about the future and the activities, and they are also looking for collaborations and collaborative efforts to make this happen. So then what is the relationship between UN SDGs and social entrepreneurship? So when we need to solve a problem, it is not like government is trying for that. Non-profit organization is taking money from the donors or the companies. They are also trying to work and solve the problems. But why is it not happening? So there is a gap, right? So what I understood, so I've been a volunteer for almost 7-8 years, and then I worked as a project consultant. What I realized is that they don't have the competency or they don't have the skills to solve a problem, and they don't have access to human resources and financial resources. That is then a social entrepreneur can come to this phase, and when it is when we talk about business, we all know that it is actually a team working for a cause, right? So solving a problem. It is not like a one-man initiative. It is actually a team working with a different skill set, and they have all the resources to solve the problem. And they might be doing some kind of innovative activities, some kind of innovation. They will bring some kind of innovation. It may be, I already mentioned about that, it can be a product, it could be a change in the process we are doing, which helps us to achieve these goals more easily. So that will help us accelerate our journey towards sustainable development goals. So you can read more about SDGs and the relationship between the social entrepreneurship. It will help to find, more innovative solutions, and more people will invest funds in solving social problems, and they will get all the resources to solve this. Let us also hear from some social entrepreneurs, some examples of social entrepreneurs. We can see that, and I need to stop sharing the screen and I will play the video. Let me share it again. We are going to hear from some. Oh, sorry, this is not the video I want to share. We have already. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
The framework between work is not working. The framework between work is not working. Poverty, unemployment, food crisis, oil crisis, everything. We need to build a civilization where we won't have that. It's not money obsession. It's about human beings.
I am Neenu Rathin, founder and executive director of Friendship.
I'm Kyle Zimmer, and I'm president and CEO of an organization called First Book.
I'm Jamie McAuliffe. I'm the president and CEO of Education for Employment.
We expand our business rather than making money, and the business is a business to solve problems.
First Book is an international organization that provides a steady stream of books and educational resources to programs and classrooms that serve children in need.
Friendship is an organization which works in the most remote areas of Bangladesh. We work in healthcare, education, relief, reconstruction, rehabilitation, sustainable income generation, and cultural preservation.
Vision Spring is an organization that provides access to affordable vision services and eyeglasses to people throughout the world.
Education for Employment. It's dedicated to providing jobs for youth in the Middle East and North Africa, part of the world that has the highest rate of youth unemployment and a very large youth demographic.
We work in Myanmar, and we basically design, create, and market products for rural families that will boost their incomes.
We do this all across Myanmar, but 80% of the country.
People tend to think of social enterprise as something which is an NGO situation, so you don't have to be professional. But you need professionals, because then it becomes a social enterprise which can grow.
Having access to the World Economic Forum for any social entrepreneur gives us a greater chance to scale our impact.
We're able to connect with people from all over the world who are focused on the same issues.
It's all about reaching more people and affecting change.
So hope you heard about some, all this. Are you aware of Mohammed Yunus of Grameen Bank? That's a perfect example of social entrepreneurship model. Grameen Bank was initiated by Mohammed Yunus, and he is very famous, and his, microcredit, a loan facility for low-income people was well accepted across the world. And another example is Aravind Eye Hospital in India. So they also have a very well accepted business model that they are actually not collecting donations even from the CSR companies. What they're doing is they are actually doing a lot of eye surgeries, and with whatever money they are getting, they are also providing free services to very low income people, either for free or in a very, 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 very nominal rate. So how they are able to do that? They are using high-end technologies, and they have very efficient doctors, and they will do in masses, so they can generate some profit out of it, and they will put that profit back to the their business, and they will give some free surgeries for the low-income people. So they have a very structured and a stable business model to achieve this. So even in Grameen, bank case also, they are not working on donations or CSR funds, but they have a business model. Even after lending loans to the very low income people, they are able to generate some kind of profit, and they are putting back to the society. So when we hear about social entrepreneur, or think about being a social entrepreneur, the first thing when it comes to your mind is, no, I will not be able to survive. That is right. If you are running maybe an NGO, and if you don't have a sustainable business model or an activity which generates money, you will be in trouble, because it is well known fact that you will not be able to expect people donate money. You may get, you may not get, but your system, the whole the way of doing the thing is not sustainable. But if you have a business activity or a business model, or if you have a product, or if you have a service to sell, then you don't need to rely on others for money. So you can generate your own money, and you can create an impact in the society. That is the difference between these two. So let us go back to the presentation. So let me give you some statistics about social entrepreneurship. It is not from India, but from US, but we always follow, statistics from US for studies. So we can see that whether it is a for-profit model or non-profit model or hybrid model. Okay, let me talk about different models you can have when you are establishing a social entrepreneurship venture. So you can have either it as a non-profit venture like the Social Town. The Social Town is actually registered as a Section 8 company, and it is a non-profit startup. So we cannot raise funds from normal investors or anything, but we can have it is very much like a private limited company. I can do business activity. I can generate money through the tech product I am developing, and also through the services I am giving, and I can put back. I cannot take profit from the company, but I cannot put back to the society, or to make my enlarge my vision also. So that is one model. So my my venture is a non-profit startup, so that is a non-profit model. And there is also called as a for-profit model. So you can register it as a normal business. You can register it in India. You can register it as a maybe if you are a single person, you can register it as a one-person company, and you can register it as a partnership business, that is called limited liability partnership business, or you can register it as a private limited company. So it is a for-profit business. So you can register your social entrepreneurship venture as a for-profit also. All you have to do is to create an impact in the society. It should solve a deep-rooted social problem, and you are taking care of all the three elements like people, profit, and your planet. That means your environment. Then you are a social entrepreneur. You can make profit. You can even take profit out of it, but your focus is not just multiplying the money you have invested, or what we call as return of investment, right? We talk about ROIs, return on investment, and your company investors are also maybe focusing on return on investment. It's okay, they are putting X amount of money. They are after 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, they are expecting 10x of money or 20x of money or 25x of money. But when somebody is investing in a social entrepreneurship venture, social venture, they are expecting not just profit, but also a social return on investment. It is called as SROI, social return of investment. That means a significant impact in the society. It could be maybe you are solving for a small group of people, or maybe a large group of people, or maybe you are solving in a global level. That doesn't matter, but you may be creating a significant impact, and that is also very important for a social entrepreneur. And you can see that now there is a increasing trend, not just in India but across the world, that people are more interested in even starting and purchasing, or being the customers of purposeful ventures. Because if somebody is doing something unethical, they are actually not going for that brand. So if your venture has some kind of purpose, people are recognizing it, and there are actually support systems like, as I already mentioned, social incubation programs or accelerators, or even the government has grants to support such entrepreneurship ventures. Now you can see that change. And I already mentioned about, so my venture, the Social Town, is promoting volunteering, social entrepreneurship, and social innovation for sustainable development. So why I'm focusing on volunteering? When we hear the word volunteering, what is the first thing comes to your mind? എന്തെങ്കിലും ഫ്രീ ആയിട്ട് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുന്ന അല്ലെ വോളണ്ടിയർ ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ സംതിങ് ഫോർ യു ആർ ഡൂയിങ് ഇറ്റ് ഫോർ ഫ്രീ ഓഫ് കോസ്റ്റ് ഫോർ someone else. But I have a very broad, it's actually more deep. So you have to try volunteering for at least some social causes you care about. It is your choice. I'm not forcing you to volunteer, but I'm just telling you a relationship between being a volunteer turned on entrepreneur. So I think it is my responsibility to share this, because volunteering is one of the best ways to get into the social entrepreneurship, because volunteering will give you an opportunity to work with an organization or a social cause you care about, and you understand about the cause, and you identify the problem in detail, and you also understand that whether you are passionate about this or not. When we care about some story of very pathetic story of maybe about a community or some situation of breast cancer patients, so we immediately become empathetic and we think that okay, I need to do something about this. That's actually maybe very impulsive, or that decision at that moment we may not have that kind of passion. But when you continue volunteering with them, you understand that whether it is your real passion or you really want to do something about it, and we can അത് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റും. പിന്നെ മാത്രമല്ല, in my experience, volunteering gave me a lot of good connections. My social network, I have a massive social network. Even with the Social Town, I'm interacting with more than 3,000 stakeholders across India, and some and we have members from other countries as well. So they are all non-profit organizations, social entrepreneurs, volunteers like me, and maybe 500-600 volunteers part of our community. And then we have service providers in the sector, and we have worked with some corporates like Microsoft Philanthropy of India, and we have worked with Cognizant Foundation, we have worked with JP Morgan and Chase. So so my network is all the all I have built through the volunteering activities I've been part of. So volunteering has immense power to change your life. You have to realize it, and you have to start working or contributing towards one or the other cause. That will also give you maybe an introduction to a social problem, and you can solve it if you are passionate about it. And so I want to end this with, it's almost 8:15, and I want to end with a small story. Then we can have an interaction, and you can ask questions. I'm happy to give answers, and or if I'm not able to do it now, I can also share more resources with you to read or to discuss. I'm happy to do that. And you can also join Social Town if you would like to contribute towards some social causes, if you would like to volunteer, or if you would like to be a part of other social entrepreneurship boot camps or activities. You're welcome to join the Social Town. So I would like to mention this quote, because being a social entrepreneur is not really easy. As I already mentioned, that our focus is not only generating profit, but we need to generate profit or money, because you make an organization financially sustainable is also a part of your entrepreneurial journey. That is also very important, right? It is like the fuel. It's like fuel. So when you are set on a journey, So you need fuel for your vehicle. And so money is, a fuel here. So that is also very important. Maybe your destination is very good, or you care about your journey very well, but the fuel is also very important. So profit is also an important part of social entrepreneurs journey. And many social entrepreneurs fail because they may not have the resources to do. They may have passion, they may have skills, they may have a good team, but they may not have the resources to do this or implement this. But if you are really passionate about something, or if you want to make any real impact in the world with your product or service, or you have to be a social entrepreneur. And I'm very sure that many will join you and make this make it possible for you. So it's a very small story of a hummingbird by Professor Wangari Maathai. She is a very famous social activist, and she's a kind of first woman to achieve Nobel Prize from the African community, and she is an advocate of democracy. And a lot more about Wangari Maathai. You can learn more about her. And let me show you a small story of the hummingbird. So we are going to stop screen sharing, and I'm going to play the YouTube video.
We are constantly being bombarded by problems that we face, and sometimes we can get completely overwhelmed. The story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest being consumed by a fire. All the animals in the forest come out, and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, very powerless. Except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, takes a drop of water, and it puts it on the fire, and goes up and down, up and down, up and down, as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals, like the elephant with a big trunk, could bring much more water. They are standing there helpless, and they are saying to the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You're too low. This fire is too big. Your wings are too low. And your beak is too small. You can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discourage it, it turns to them without wasting any time and tells them, I am doing the best I can. And that to me is what all of us should do. We should always feel like a hummingbird. I may feel insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can.
ഭയങ്കര ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സ്റ്റോറിയാണ് അത്. ആക്ച്വലി it is talking about നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും our role is very insignificant. We are very small. The world has already mentioned our world is facing a lot of problems, very deep and complex problems, and we think that government will solve it. Government have the resources, or there are a lot of organizations with huge funds. In India also, actually corporate social responsibility in പറയുന്നത് it's a $1 trillion market ആണ്. അത്രയും എന്താണ് ഫണ്ട്സ് ഉണ്ട്, CSR ഫണ്ട്സ് ഉണ്ട്, ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് ആക്സസിബിൾ ഫോർ സ്മോൾ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ വി തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ് ഓക്കെ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഈസ് there are big organizations, there are agencies like UN, and there are actually global non-profit organizations or global NGOs ഉണ്ട്, and they will do that. But they cannot do that it alone. I mean, that means it is actually a responsibility of each one of us to contribute towards the. It could be a very small contribution. I will tell you a very small example. When I started volunteering, my first project was with Madhrubhumi Seed and also with Art of Living International Foundation. So what I did was I gave a proposal to Madhrubhumi, and I told them I will go to 10 schools and I will plant 5 trees each, and I will also talk to students about the importance of tree planting. And I will ask them to plant trees. If they like my sessions, I will ask them to plant trees. Okay, that was actually, that kind of proposal was new for them because they were actually doing it, for quite some time, but they don't give, others a chance to go to schools and do sessions like this. But they agreed after seeing my enthusiasm. And I also talked to Art of Living Foundation, where I started volunteering, and I told them, okay, I will take up your Haridabardham project and I will associate with Madhumuni, and I will, again, I told them about this. I will do it with 10 schools and let's see the result. Both of them agreed, and I started going to school and taking sessions. And can you imagine, in 6 months, thousands of trees were planted as part of that initiative. So I was planting only 5 trees in 8 schools. And then after my session, and the students started planting trees, and thousands of trees were planted. A single person's initiative, right? So if I'm thinking that I had no connections at that time, I mentioned that, I had a long break in my career, and I started with volunteering in 2013 only. So I had no connections, no resources. So I was completely alone doing this. But I was able to create a change, right? So that's it. So we think that we cannot do much about the larger problems in the society, but at least we can try whatever we can do. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, it is very important to sharpen your skills, as I already mentioned. So it is not like running a charity organization where you will focus only about the social cause you care about and the donations. It is not like that. A social entrepreneur must have all the skills, like the marketing or the sales or the fundraising or everything, right? Like any other entrepreneurs, he or she should have all the skills for that, plus the passion for creating a social change. So you are actually responsible not just to create an return on the investment to the investors, but you are also bound to create a change in the society, a measurable impact in the society. So that is not easy. So actually, social entrepreneurship is actually one step more than other entrepreneurs. But I don't know whether others will accept, but I have to tell this because it takes a lot of courage to be a social entrepreneur. Because the profit you have to create a measurable impact. That takes a different step. But if you are doing it, I'm sure that will give you a different sense of purpose in your life. And we need more social entrepreneurs. That is very relevant in this study because the world is going through such unprecedented conditions, right? So when the pandemic hit, most of the organizations changed their working model, especially startups. They pivoted and changed their business idea to serve for that particular situation. So they became, social entrepreneurs at that time. That matters, right? Now, even the world is focusing, the whole world after the that 2015 agreement and 2030 sustainable development goals and 2050 net zero goals, there is a huge demand for social entrepreneurs who are solving these problems at large. Even investors are ready to invest. There is a different set of investors called impact investors, and there is something new called as environment, social and governance. ESG is a new buzzword in this social development space. That means sustainability is not just about environment, but it's also about the people within the organization and also the outside. So there is a lot of factors are coming and gauging all the businesses. So if you are going to be a social entrepreneur, you are going to benefit in the long run for sure, because our world needs more social entrepreneurs and the support systems will increase for sure. Now also you can see a major shift in the trend. Earlier you cannot find a lot of organizations supporting social entrepreneurs, but now the scenario is different. There are actually organizations and accelerators and incubators, and there are funds for social entrepreneurs. There are actually a lot of platforms to social entrepreneurs to grow. That is actually a good change in the society, what we can see. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer it. And I already mentioned, if you want to be a social entrepreneur, it is better you start working with the causes you care about. Then you realize whether you have the real passion to do that. And of course, you have to sharpen your entrepreneurial skills. And in India, you can register it as a non-profit organization or a a for-profit organization, or you can run it as a hybrid model. Hybrid model in the sense you can have a for-profit and a non-profit organization together working for the same mission. Run organization but you will be working for the same mission. So you can have the benefits of both. Non-profit organization benefit and the benefit of the non-profit organization is that, they can accept donations. They can, get tax exemptions. These are the benefits. And for-profit organizational benefits and that they can raise money from the investors also, because it is a huge bottleneck for any entrepreneur to raise the capital investment. So investment raise in the for-profit organization advantage in the marina. So both has its own advantages and disadvantages. It is always good to have a for-profit social enterprise model because you don't need to rely only on the donations. I'm also thinking about registering the social town as in a hybrid model. So currently it is a non-profit model. So when people are thinking, but we have a business model, but when people hear it is a non-profit organization, they think that we are a non-revenue organization. It's not right. That actually people are working behind it, and we need to grow to create a better impact, right? A huge impact that we need that kind of resources. So it is very tough to make people understand about a non-profit organization with a business model. So we are also actually planning to have both models in place and to create more impact. And NGOs you can register either as a trust register and also it as a society to register, and you can also register it like a Section 8 company at register. Section 8 company is a non-profit version of a private limited company. It is almost like the legal structure is very much like a private limited company, but you cannot take the profit. When a for-profit at a registry, it can be a single person, one person company, or limited liability partnership company, or a private limited company at registry. So you can take any legal structure and be a social, entrepreneur. It depends on your interest and sense whether you need to take profit or not. The ultimate aim is our profit is just a means, not just the the ultimate goal of the organization. That's the difference in the mind. If you have any doubts, I'm happy to talk more. It is always very tough for me to interact in a virtual mode because, while I'm presenting, I cannot even see the screen. I can only see my presentation and I'm talking to my presentation. So that's very difficult. So if you can interact, that will be great. That's actually a very good question, Shrestha. But the thing is, you should have a financial model in place which generates money. So social entrepreneurship, they are not telling that, our approach in the parayunnathu, it is not restricting money. Actually, you can generate money, or you should generate money. Or I would say that you should generate more money because you have more responsibility towards the people or planet. So you cannot work like any other organization. Like if I'm starting a company to develop pet bottles, plastic jars develop a company. Unethical, I'm not concerned about the material I'm using to make the bottles. I'm concerned and I'm low quality plastic bottles create. So I'm not concerned about the environment. And I am engaging people with very low salary. I'm not concerned about the people also. So I'm actually focusing only on the profit. I'm not concerned about any other criteria. So it is easy for me. So, but for a social entrepreneur, you have to think about all these factors, right? So even if you are developing something, a bottle and the product, you have to think that a bottle, the product, procuring the supply chain sustain environmental friendly procurement and what material you are using. Are you employing people with any specific needs or from a particular community? Are you giving equal opportunities for women or men? and are you generating enough money to survive your organization and also to enlarge the mission of the organization? Appo ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് financial constraints വെക്കാണ്ട് you should generate money, and as I mentioned earlier, it is always advisable to have a for-profit social entrepreneurship model for your business. Appo you can generate money and you can attract talents. അതല്ലാതെ പിന്നെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് I mean volunteering is actually a win-win situation for the giver and taker. Social entrepreneurs can utilize the potential of volunteers to create some kind of impact, but it has some limitations. But if you need a good core team who is working continuously, then you need to give them salaries because they also need to survive. For that, I prefer you to go for a for-profit social entrepreneurship model which works which implements all the skills, or or to have a business model like a for-profit organization, generate money and put back to society. Adu mathre adinu vadiyullu Shrestha. There's no other way. You should run like any other business which focuses on money, but not just on money, but also the welfare of the the people and planet. That's it. Volunteers to some extent it work. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് it is always advisable to have a for-profit model എന്നുള്ളത്. നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും social entrepreneurship അല്ലെങ്കിൽ if I'm promoting social entrepreneurship, it is you have to work without money എന്നുള്ളതല്ല അതിന്റെ idea. We have to be more empathetic. We have to consider about the people and planet. You have to solve a very relevant social problem. അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ. There is no restriction in making money. And hummingbird പോലെ ആവട്ടെ, നമ്മൾ എല്ലാവരും we think that we cannot make a change. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ മാത്രം ഒരു social entrepreneur ആയിട്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ number of social entrepreneurs compared to the normal entrepreneurs, so we are less in number. So we may think that why should I? Right? Why should I? അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ആ കണ്ട വീഡിയോസിലൊക്കെ it was very small short videos, but it has a very relevant message or the importance of being a social entrepreneur rather than being a entrepreneur ആവുന്നതിലുപരി ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യം എന്താന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ട് അല്ലെ. നമ്മള് വിചാരിക്കുന്ന ചേഞ്ച് ആയിരിക്കില്ല നമുക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. We are inspiring a lot of people, right? We are not just doing. If you are doing good for others, you are also good for doing good for you. That is also the message. ഞാൻ ഹമ്മിങ് സ്റ്റോറി പറയുന്നത് വെരി ക്ലിയർലി അതാണ് അതിൽ പറയുന്നത്. ആ ലാർജ് ഫോറസ്റ്റിലെ ഫയർ വന്നപ്പോഴും ഹ്യൂജ് ആനിമൽസ് ഇൻക്ലൂഡിങ് എലഫന്റ്, അവർക്ക് വലിയ ട്രങ്ക് ഉണ്ട്, എന്നിട്ട് പോലും they were not doing anything, but hummingbird decided to go and even if it's a drop of water decided to do something about that problem, right? So it's inspiring a lot of people. So that's it. Any other questions? Yes, Josna, please. Josna, you can unmute and speak. Josna, accidentally hand raise ചെയ്താണോ, or do you have any question? എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ ചോദിക്കാൻ? ഒന്നുമില്ലാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. സോ ഐ വിൽ ഗിവ് യു ക്വിക്ക് എന്താണ് ഒരു വൈൻഡപ്പും കൂടെ തരുവാണ്. സോ സോഷ്യൽ ഓൺടർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് someone who is applying all the entrepreneurial skills to solve a community problem, very deep social or environment problem solve ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരാളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സോഷ്യൽ ഓൺടർപ്രണർ പറയുന്നത്. So they are applying a novel solution or innovative solution for a social problem. So applying the entrepreneurial skills. ഇതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ സോഷ്യൽ ഓൺടർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. And the social entrepreneur should have all the skills required for a normal entrepreneur. Or a normal entrepreneur പോലെ തന്നെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. Either it is legal structure is whether non-profit or for-profit. Social problems are actually more deep and complex, so they require all kind of resources. So you can either have a non-profit social entrepreneurship venture or have a for-profit venture, but at the current age it is advisable to have a for-profit model. Then you have more opportunities even to raise funds for the causes you are working for. And it's all about your passion for creating an impact in the society. So it is better to check whether you really have that passion for creating an impact, then go for it, because it is not going to be a very easy journey. No entrepreneurship journey is very easy, but for me it is not just about being a unicorn, but it's also creating a small impact in society. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ കേരളത്തിലെ എന്താ പറയാ ഫസ്റ്റ് യൂണിക്കോൺ ആണ് ഓപ്പൺ അല്ലേ. സോ ഐ ഹാവ് ദ സെയിം റെസ്പെക്ട് of അതിന്റെ ഫൗണ്ടേഴ്സിനോടുള്ള അതേ റെസ്പെക്ട് തന്നെയാണ് ഐ ഹാവ് that kind of respect to an entrepreneur named Devi Kunyalakshmi. She is part of Amani's global Leadership for Growth program. Actually, I was also one of the 20 selected entrepreneurs from South India for the leadership training program by Amani. Amani is actually a global non-profit organization. So actually Devi was working in US, and after retirement she came back to Coimbatore. She is actually Malayali but settled in Coimbatore. She is always an activist. She was always an activist for agriculture related കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫാർമേഴ്സിനൊക്കെ വേണ്ടി. She always used to raise voice, but then she decided to be an entrepreneur, started working with a group of farmers, and taking their products and also train them to create value added products and also market them. It takes a lot, right? She is actually 65 or so, and she is very actively working for the the betterment of that small farmers community. So I have equal respect to Devi like any other what we call unicorn founders. For me, both have their own abilities or their own passion towards do something or to contribute towards the society. So yeah. But Devi പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, it's very easy to be an activist. It just needs to be loud enough and to tell the world about their problems and to get some support from others. But when you're working with them, working to solve their problem and to help them in all aspects, that makes you stand out, and that makes you to be a social entrepreneur.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, Anu. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So as we have a great section by Neenu Rathin, ma'am. And to us, I know it has inspired each one of you, and it will be really helpful for everyone. Thank you, ma'am, for having being with us on your valuable time. And it was really a great session. Thank you so much, ma'am. And as a form of thank you, ma'am. And as a form of love and gratitude, we, the whole team, present you a memento. Yeah. And it is really amazing to have you here. It was really interesting, and I don't know. I think you have great listeners too.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So I hope we will have an opportunity to have an in-person, interactive event. So I prefer that. And I was also once a lecturer, so I mean way back in 2008. So I always like to interact with students and make them inspired to do something for the community. That is my my life's vision, not just the vision of my venture. So it was great being here. Thank you for inviting me, and I also had a great time with you all.
Thank you, ma'am. So once again, I thank you on behalf of our team and all the people who are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.